Hi, I'm Mark. I'm a high school student. Now I'm very sorry that once I have stepped through a computer club, it was just a harmless idea to play a little bit of games. Once I was the diligent student of my class, the pride of my parents, and a role model for my brothers. I was an excellent student, an activist. Every single school event was held with my active participation. I loved active lifestyle, played sports, went swimming, and read a lot. One day my classmates and I decided to play a little bit of computer games after school. It was my first time being in that place. It wasn't interesting at first because I didn't know how to play, but each time it became more interesting and engaging. I didn't even notice how much I got into the computer games, and soon my hobby became an addiction. Every day after classes in a hurry, I was going to the computer club to play at least a little bit. Then I started playing for hours. Sometimes it could be 2 or even 3 hours in a row. A month later, I started skipping classes, scamming from school. All my thoughts were only about the games. Eventually, virtual life has become part of me, and I didn't want to go back to the real world, as a real life has become uninteresting and dull. And soon, I stopped going to school at all. It happened because I could play games in the club for 24 hours, lying my parents that I would stay in a friend's house. Of course, the family and the teachers found out about my addiction. They were all very upset. Dad decided to punish me. He left me without money and forced my mom to do the same. But that didn't stop me either. I started to borrow money from my friends and from my acquaintances. At that moment, I just forgot about pride and shame. I was always finding a way to go back to the club. Everybody around me stopped respecting me, started to look with contempt. My friends turned their backs, and my parents were just hopeless on me. They didn't know how to calm me down. They tried to lock me up to home, took me to a psychologist, but I still was finding the ways to my addicted place. I thought I would die if I didn't play. Passing the game levels was almost the meaning of life. There was no alternative to happiness other than the computer games, and my parents were always scolding over me and fighting with each other because of me. One day, my mama brought a mirror and said, "Look at yourself, son." And I cried. I saw the reflection, but I didn't recognize myself. There wasn't me, it was a stranger. It turned out I hadn't looked at myself in the mirror all this time. I was like a homeless man with overgrown hairs, red and puffy eyes. If I look out the window, my eyes were itching with bright light. Dad offered to go to the park together. We had a lot of fun. And planned a week-long vacation out of town. Upon arrival, I began to analyze the past. I was ashamed of myself. I felt bad towards my parents and my friends. Only then I came to the senses that I got tired of living this kind of life. I decided to get a hold of myself, to justify my parents' hope. After all, I want to live a happy life. My family was glad to see the old Mark, but they still had doubts as to whether I could overcome my weakness and change. Of course, they needed time to believe in me again, and I've changed, and I'm sure I won't make the same mistakes in the future. Share this video with your friends, let my story serve as an example, and write in the comments, have you ever had crazy addiction to the games? Also send your stories to the email in the description.